In the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, there are countless stories of ships, sailors, and storms. But among all these tales, one stands apart as one of the most enduring maritime mysteries of all time. It is the strange, unsettling, and unsolved case of the Mary Celeste, the so-called ghost ship. Our story begins in the year 1872. At the bustling port of New York, docked along the harbor was a brigantine ship, freshly loaded with cargo, ready for another transatlantic journey. This vessel, under the command of Captain Benjamin Briggs, was set to sail for Genoa, Italy. Her cargo was valuable, over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, not the type to be consumed, but meant for manufacturing and trade in Europe. Alongside the cargo, 10 people prepared to make the long voyage across the Atlantic. Captain Briggs himself, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and a crew of 7 experienced seamen. By all accounts, the Mary Celeste was in good condition. Inspections revealed no faults, the crew was well supplied, and morale seemed high. On the 7th of November, 1872, the ship set sail from New York. It was a journey of nearly 4,000 miles, expected to take weeks, possibly more than a month. In those times, without modern navigation or communication tools, such voyages were always perilous, but not unusual. What nobody could have predicted, however, was that the Mary Celeste would never complete her journey in the way it was meant to. Weeks passed. By late November, other ships that had left New York after the Mary Celeste had already begun arriving in European ports, but there was no sign of Captain Briggs's vessel. Families, traders, and officials began to worry. Had a storm sunk her? Had pirates attacked? Or was there some other misfortune at sea? The answer came, or at least seemed to come, on December 4th, 1872. On that day, another British vessel, the Dei Gratia, was sailing through the choppy waters of the Atlantic, about 600 miles west of Portugal. From a distance, the captain of the Dei Gratia spotted a ship drifting aimlessly, its sails partially set but torn, its movement irregular, carried only by the waves and wind. The ship did not respond to signals. Suspicious and concerned, the captain ordered his men to investigate. As the boarding party approached, the name painted on the hull became clear. To their astonishment, it was the Mary Celeste. This was the same vessel that had vanished after leaving New York almost a month earlier. But as they boarded her, the mystery deepened beyond anything they could have imagined. The ship was completely deserted. Not a single person was found on board. The captain, his wife, their child, and all 7 crew members had simply vanished. Yet, the ship itself was in remarkably sound condition. There were no signs of struggle or violence. The cargo of alcohol was still intact, save for 9 barrels that were mysteriously empty. The crew's personal belongings remained untouched, clothing neatly folded, pipes and boots left behind. Even Captain Briggs' cabin still contained his personal effects. The ship's logbook was discovered, with its last entry dated November 25th, 10 days before the Mary Celeste was found. What was most puzzling was that the provisions were untouched as well. There was enough food and water for 6 months. Everything a crew would need to survive the voyage was right there. And yet, the lifeboat was missing. It was as if the crew had left the ship voluntarily, abandoning it in the middle of the ocean for reasons that made no sense. The more the men of the Dei Gratia looked around, the stranger things became. Some areas of the ship were damp, with shallow pools of water, but there was no structural damage. It was not sinking. Navigation instruments, sextant, and chronometer were missing, but there were no bloodstains, no torn clothing, no weapons drawn. Even a sword in the captain's cabin remained sheathed. Everything suggested order, and yet no people remained. They brought the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar, where the courts opened an official inquiry. Salvage law meant that if they had truly rescued a valuable ship and its cargo, they could claim a reward worth a fortune. But the court suspected foul play, De Gratia's crew have murdered the Mary Celeste's people to steal the ship. Investigators searched for evidence of violence, but found nothing. No blood, no signs of struggle, and no explanation for why an entire crew, along with the captain's family, would abandon a seaworthy vessel in the middle of the Atlantic. From here, theories began to spread, theories that continue to this day. Some suggested mutiny, though the crew had good reputations and no known conflicts. Others thought pirates may have attacked, but nothing had been stolen. One of the most popular theories was that of an explosion. The barrels of alcohol in the hold were dangerous. 9 of them were empty, leading some to believe that fumes might have escaped, creating the impression of an imminent explosion. Perhaps, in panic, Captain Briggs ordered everyone into the lifeboat, intending only to stay nearby until the danger passed. If that was the case, something might have gone terribly wrong, leaving the lifeboat lost at sea while the Mary Celeste drifted away. Another theory suggested that a sudden waterspout or a violent storm forced the captain to order evacuation. But this does not explain why they would abandon the ship while it was still seaworthy. Some even believed that the ship had been cursed from the beginning. Before being renamed Mary Celeste, it had suffered a series of misfortunes, collisions, illness, and financial troubles for its owners. Sailors, often superstitious, whispered that the ship was doomed, haunted by ill fortune, perhaps even cursed by restless spirits. The mystery captured the imagination of the public. Newspapers printed sensational stories. Some said sea monsters had devoured the crew. Others claimed extraterrestrial forces. Long before UFO theories became popular, the idea of the Mary Celeste as a ghost ship stuck, and her legend only grew with time. Despite countless investigations, no one has ever proven what truly happened. The most likely explanation remains that Captain Briggs, fearing an explosion from the alcohol fumes or danger from unexpected flooding, ordered a temporary evacuation. But whatever the cause, the decision doomed them all. The small lifeboat would have been no match for the unforgiving Atlantic, and the people aboard likely perished, their bodies never to be found. The Mary Celeste, empty but intact, continued to sail until discovered. Even after the mystery, the ship's story did not end. She was repaired and put back into service, but her reputation as a cursed vessel followed her. Sailors were reluctant to crew her. Owners struggled to make a profit. Eventually, years later, she was deliberately wrecked off the coast of Haiti in an insurance fraud scheme, her remains left to rot in shallow waters. But the enigma of 1872 remains unsolved. What really happened in those final days aboard the Mary Celeste? Why did 10 people leave a safe and stocked ship only to vanish into history? Was it fear, folly, or something far stranger? Over 150 years later, the ocean keeps its secret. The Mary Celeste still drifts in our imagination, a ghost ship not only of the sea, but of human mystery itself.